Welcome into Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao and Mo Patton here on this Friday edition, as it's the final day of the week. Looking forward to a great show and excited to get started here as we are winding down this week. Bowl season is winding up.
Yeah.
Getting ready to go. It's going to be a good, great weekend of football ahead, by the way. NFL and college football tomorrow and NFL on Sunday. Are you kidding me?
Yes,
please.
be a lot of fun. Should be a lot of fun.
I'm telling you, they say it's the most wonderful time of the year. Has nothing to do with Christmas. And even though bowl games are not as meaningful as they once were at certain levels, they still are at, I think, the group of five level for the most part. They're still, I mean, obviously there are some of the better players. In fact, I think I read somewhere that Conference USA, 20 members of the All CUSA team were in the transfer portal. So clearly the best players of these G5 teams are in the portal and not playing in bowl games, but it's still fun. I don't care. It's college football. I don't care what the names are, who the names are. It's going to be exciting. We're going to get to watch it. We're going to get to pick it here in just a few minutes. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm pumped up.
I can tell.
So, how are things?
Things are things. You know, like you said, Friday, it's the weekend. I'll probably watch a little ball, officiate a little ball. Yep. So,
where are you going to be?
Well, I don't want to tell anybody because I don't want nobody running up on me. No, I'll be at Brentwood Middle Saturday afternoon.
I'll be at Academy. So got a lot of 16 to 18-year-olds that need some help. Man. At least we get three people.
Oh, y'all got a three-man crew?
Yeah, we get three.
Well, y'all, for 16 to 18s, you probably need it. Yeah. The only technicals I've called in, I guess, 3 years of officiating now.
We're in those 18.
We're in those 16, 18s. Yeah.
Those kids get crazy. They get silly.
I did have to call intentional foul the other day, though, in a late game situation where somebody had to foul. Well, I mean, there's having to foul, and there's just two-handed shoving somebody in their back as they're going away from you.
Yeah, can't do that.
Can't do that.
Can't do that.
And then them looking at you like, what? dude, if he had fell face first, you'd have knocked his teeth out. I mean, come on. Yes, that's intentional.
You got to play for the ball. Got to play for the ball.
Or at least look like it.
Make an attempt to pretend.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it can get rough in those 16, 18.
I mean, we all know it's intentional, but kind of act like
it's not.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh man, I've got a good show. Eric Henry's going to join us a little bit later.
Really looking forward to that conversation.
He was actually on WJOX this morning with 3-man front. So he's been making the rounds here in the Southeastern Conference footprint today.
Well, I bet he has. And we talked about what we're going to talk about with him earlier this year.
Yeah, before the season.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about the quarterback situation at Texas and how
they really needed Quinn Ewers to come out, which was what I said then. And apparently he's not.
So it appears like everybody else
somebody's coming out.
At least one.
Yeah.
So we'll talk with Eric about Texas. We'll talk with Terry McCormick, obviously with the Titans. We're going to pick bowl games in the next two segments. So going to get that out of the way. And then the second half of the show will be really exciting because we're going to talk about more legislation issues in college football, both on the basketball side and the football side, because now Georgia's legislation is getting into the game. But anyway, we'll get to all of that and much, much more. Right now, though, we need to get you yesterday's results and today's schedule on the rundown.
This is the rundown.
The Friday Rundown is brought to you by Chip Walters of Exit Realty Bob Lamb and Associates. The voice of the Blue Raiders also wants to be your trusted advisor in real estate. Contact Chip at 615-542-1915 or through his website at choosechip.net. Chip Walters, proud to support youth sports across Middle Tennessee.
Girls basketball last night, Clarksville 49, Clarksville Northwest 40 as Loretto 64-26 winners over Cornersville. Culleoka falls to Moore County 72-31. It was Donaldson Christian, a 66-26 winner over Lead Academy. Hampshire falls to Lewis County 65-51. Coverage on MainStreetMurray.com. Creekwood 58, Harpeth 36. Dixon County 49-31 winners over Kirkwood. It was Muscle Shoals of Alabama, 55-41 against Lawrence County. Mount Pleasant falls to Giles County, 53-34. Lady Bobcats' first win of the season. Murfreesboro Central, a 45-32 winner over Community, and Springfield downs Kenwood, 60-39.
Boys action on Thursday night. Clarksville defeated Clarksville Northwest, 60-55. Loretto with a 75-46 win over Cornersville. Culleoka edged Moore County, 62-61. Big win for the Blue Warriors. Warrior Devils, something. Lead Academy 59, Donaldson Christian 52. Lewis County double up Hampshire 66-33. It was Creekwood 60, Harpeth 52, Dixon County 66, Kirkwood 62, Lawrence County with a 53-50 win over Muscle Shoals. Liberty Creek defeated Maplewood 46-39. It was Giles County 52, Mount Pleasant 51. Murfreesboro Central with a 60-54 win over Community. In women's college basketball yesterday, Austin Peay defeated Fisk 72-64, and last night, Chattanooga defeated Lipscomb 72-62.
High school basketball today, these are double headers at 4:30 as Lipscomb at Baylor. That's 4:30 Central, 5:30 Eastern. Did make the correction there this time. That doesn't always happen. Doubleheader starting at 6 tonight. Antioch hosting Providence Christian. Rossview's at Bowling Green, Kentucky. Sycamore's at Cheatham County. Always, this should be a good one there. Columbia Central hosts Blackman. Fayetteville is here in Columbia at Columbia Academy. Davidson Academy hosting Nashville Christian. Eagleville's at home against Forest. Pickett County will be at East Robertson, and Donaldson Christian's at Easel Harding. Franklin Road Academy hosts Zion Christian, and Glencliff is at home against Knowledge Academies. Clarksville Academy is at Good Pasture. Greenbrier goes to Harpeth. Montgomery Central's at Hollow Rock Brewston, and Hume Fogg is at Hunters Lane. John Overton welcomes Lawson, and Lawrence County is at home against Lincoln County. Watertown goes to Lead Academy. McGavock at home against Valor Collegiate. Mount Juliet hosting Lebanon. Nolensville at home against Laverne, and Cookville is at Oakland.
Also at 6 o'clock in doubleheader action, Creekwood goes to Page. Summertown travels to Perry County. Portland hosts Westmoreland. Fairview is at Ravenwood. STEM Academy goes to Republic. Richland is taking on visiting Wayne County. Marshall County is at Riverdale. Centennial goes to Shelbyville. Beach is at Smith County. Smyrna hosts Cane Ridge. Cornersville travels to Spring Hill. Gallatin is at Station Camp. Stewart's Creek hosts Hendersonville. Summit hosts Siegel. Joe Burns is at West Creek. White House Heritage is at White House. Green Hill is at Wilson Central. And Jackson Christian plays Middle Tennessee Christian. On Saturday, 2 o'clock start for this double dip as Ezel Harding goes down I-24, taking on Silverdale Academy of Chattanooga. At 2:30, Antioch is at Grace Christian of Franklin. At 6, Zion Christian is at Battleground Academy. I think that might be tonight.
I've got Zion Christian at FRA, or not FRA, but Franklin. Yeah, at FRA.
No, that's not right. Okay. They had 2 games scheduled for today. Franklin Road got canceled. BGA is on.
They had 2 games scheduled for today. Of course they did.
Tomorrow at 6, Middle Tennessee Christian is at Franklin Road Academy.
Gotcha. All right. Girls only tonight. Cleveland is at Martin Luther King at 7. Tennessee Live event. I don't know where these games are.
Rockville?
I think It doesn't say at Rockville.
I believe they are
this,
at
but it
Rockville.
could be at Rockville. But you sent me that. Schedule.
Yes,
you sure did.
Yes, a tweet that we were not tagged on. Yes,
you did send me that. Okay, so at Rockville, Lake Region, Florida, at 1 o'clock, so underway now. At 6 tonight, CPA and Girls Preparatory School, and at 8:30, Pearl Cohn and Webb School. Tomorrow, same place, Raven Gap, and I'm not saying that word because nope. Raven Gap and Rockville at 10 a.m. Coffee County and Brentwood at noon. Lake Region and Blackman at 4, and Siegel Pearl Cohn at 7. Boys only. NBA is at Gaffney Athletic Prep Academy. I assume that's in Gaffney, South Carolina.
I would assume so.
Home of the great big giant Peach Water Tower. Pope Prep is at York Institute at 6 tonight. Location unknown. Memphis Homeschool and Brentwood Academy at 6. That may also be in the TN Live event, but I don't know whether they'll be playing that boys side. Because Memphis Homeschool plays Independence tomorrow at noon. NBA is at McCauley at 1:30, and at 2 o'clock it's Brentwood Academy and Ridgeway. Somewhere.
Men's basketball tipping off about 15 minutes ago. Cumberland is at Southeastern. Tomorrow at noon, Cumberland plays Florida College. At 2 o'clock, Blue Mountain is at UT Southern. Also at 2 o'clock.
That's Blue Mountain Christian, not Blue Mountain State, which is a difference.
Yes. One actually exists.
One exists. The other is. Anyway.
Yes. 2 o'clock, you can see it on ESPN Plus. Austin Peay goes to EA Diddle Arena, taking on the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky. Go Govs. Lipscomb is at Arkansas at 5 o'clock on ESPN Plus. At 6:30 on ESPN Plus. Goodness. Vanderbilt going out to Lubbock, taking on the Red Raiders of Texas Tech. Guns up. NC State and Tennessee play at 9 on the Deuce in San Antonio. That's interesting.
It's that Spalding tournament thing. I don't know.
Okay. And Monday, before we get on the air, Bethel is at Cumberland. That's an 11 o'clock tip. Should be interesting. Women's basketball, 5:30 tonight on ESPN Plus. It's Eastern Kentucky at Tennessee State. Saturday, at 2 o'clock on ESPN Plus, Bryan, featuring Riley Ham of Columbia Central, travels to Austin Peay. At 4 o'clock, Saginaw Valley State, I assume that's out of Michigan,
I think so.
plays at Trevecca. On Sunday, 1 o'clock on ESPN Plus, Belmont is at Kennesaw State, also at 1, also on ESPN Plus. Lipscomb is at Memorial Gym, taking on the Commodore women. And at 2 on ESPN Plus, the Lady Jacks of Stephen F. Austin are at the Glass House taking on the Lady Raiders. On the ice this weekend, 6:30 tonight, on ESPN Plus. The Predators are at Carolina. And tomorrow night at 7 o'clock on the NHL Network, it's what, Hockey Night in America? Is that a thing? Washington comes to Bridgestone taking on the Preds. Tonight in the association, Houston is at the FedEx Forum taking on the Grizzlies. That's a 7 o'clock tip on Valley Sports Southeast. And at noon Sunday on CBS, the Tennessee Oilers hosting the Houston Texans.
I could have put Oilers. Should have put Oilers.
You should have put Oilers. That's okay. I knew.
I'm glad you said that.
That is your rundown.
Top stories brought to you by Piggly Wiggly and Neely's Mill Shopping Center here in Columbia. Great deli lunches, fresh hand-cut meats, fantastic produce, and it's all cost plus 10 at the register. Just go by Piggly Wiggly and Neely's Mill here in Columbia for all of your grocery needs. Top story today, Mo. The transfer portal continues. Auburn quarterback.
Portal gone portal, huh?
Yeah, Auburn quarterback Robbie Ashford is now in the portal.
Okay, so you didn't have to be in the portal by the 4th then. What was that?
Apparently, the portal opened on the 4th for recruitment. So it didn't matter when you went in, apparently. Now that has changed because last year there was a deadline to be in it, and you had to be in it to get recruited. Now apparently it's just open until signing day. So whatever. And I guess that makes sense because, if let's say Auburn gets a commitment from a transfer portal quarterback and, the number 2 or 3 guys like, well, crap, I'm going to get in the portal now.
Right.
Makes sense. So I'm glad that they're adjusting this thing as we go. And it seems to be, the little things here and there are getting kind of worked out, which I guess is good.
Sure.
To some degree.
It is good. I mean, there's needed to be some working out. There still needs to be some working out, but at least it's moving in that direction.
There you go. So Robbie Ashford goes in. Another quarterback from the SEC is out alongside his outside linebacker brother.
Linebacker / defensive end / edge rusher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You call him edge.
Edge.
And that is the Wade twins, formerly of Kentucky, now Colorado.
Coach Prime, baby.
Coach Prime is doing his thing in Tennessee and
here's
beyond.
Here's the thing. He's got some Tennessee ties on that coaching staff,
right.
as we have discussed. Corey Phillips, who left LSU to go out there, and I think he's recruiting director, maybe. I think he would have been at Vanderbilt when Destin and Keaton were at Summit,
where he most likely recruited them,
I would think. And also former Pearl Cone standout, former Vanderbilt linebacker Darius Darden-Box is also on the staff out there.
Yeah, we've been talking about their Tennessee ties since Prime got hired.
Right. So they are quite familiar with the Wades.
Right. And someone said this, and we did some. We know that Destin has 3 years of eligibility. Keaton has 2. Destin is, obviously going to be in a quarterback room with Shedeur Sanders. I don't think that we're going to see Destin Wade play over Shedeur Sanders. Okay.
I don't know that he's going to play over him, but look at Shedeur Sanders this past season. Look at Colorado's offensive line this past season. There could very well be opportunity to play, not necessarily over him, but play.
When they took their visit to Colorado, there was some question about the thought process. And I said Destin's skill set is very similar to Shedeur Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
And so if that's the kind of offense that Deion Sanders is planning to run, I think Destin Wade has a very good opportunity to be a part of it going forward.
Mm-hmm.
If not next year.
For 2 years after.
For 2 years after. I'm just saying. So, clearly a good move on the part of Keaton. I mean, he's going to play immediately.
He's going to play wherever he was going.
Yeah. He's going to play immediately. He's going to be, on the field. And, that's one thing that, Steve Wade said was he's got to get on the field wherever it is. And I feel like he's got a better than good opportunity to do so at Colorado. And now in the Big 12 could be a seriously disruptive part of that Colorado defense.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is going to be good for them. I really do.
Also,
other transfer portal news.
Vanderbilt receiver London Humphreys, who was an all SEC freshman, will be playing his sophomore season apparently at Georgia.
That's not surprising. That was kind of the thought process immediately after he entered the portal, I think.
The number one receiver in the portal?
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
I was a little shocked to see some of the names we've seen. But have you seen San Diego State, by the way?
I can tell you that I have not really kept up with the portal.
This kind of blew. And the only reason I saw this is because someone had them all listed.
Mm-hmm.
But they now have 3 quarterbacks.
San Diego State does?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Danny O'Neal, who is, and I think he may be a recruit, not a transfer. A transfer, but mm-hmm. Danny O'Neal is recruited, a 3-star prospect. They got AJ Duffy from Florida State. And there was somebody else. They have 3 quarterbacks coming in, and I'm just like, and it's the guy from Colorado. What's his name? The coach,
Sean Lewis.
Yes, I mean he's going to have his pick of really good quarterbacks
mm-hmm.
going into next year. So I'll be interested, man. There are some teams, especially out west, who could make some real noise with the Pac-2 situation. San Diego State has been a team in the past that has made noise at that level.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, Sean Lewis has an opportunity to do that. He's going to have great quarterbacks. Watch out is all I'm saying.
I've just always felt like San Diego State is kind of a underrated situation. I mean, shouldn't have any problem recruiting there.
Should have no problem recruiting. And now again, here's the part that nobody realizes. USC and UCLA playing in the Big Ten, and Washington, Oregon as well.
Mm-hmm.
The number of teams in those conferences, you're going to have a lot of teams who have traditionally been top 25 teams with 6-6 records. And these Mountain West teams are going to be, 9-3, 10-2,
mm-hmm.
maybe 11-1, playing for that G5 spot in the playoffs. To me, it just seems like playing in the Pac-2 Mountain West Alliance out there,
mm-hmm.
might be a better fit for some of these high 3-star, mid 4-star guys. Do you want to go be 6-6 and have to play in Chicago every other year? No, you don't. Not when you can play in San Diego.
Or some combination of Chicago or Madison or Happy Valley or no.
I mean,
I can't. How happy is Happy Valley in November and December?
Is it great to go to the big house and play in the horseshoe and play those big time games on big time networks? Sure, but you can be successful, you can win games, and you can maybe go to the playoffs.
And you can go to the league.
And you can go to the league because they'll find you. So I'm just saying, might think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we've got college football pick'em. So stick around. We'll be right back in just a moment after these messages on Main Street Sports Today. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today. Justin, is that, I don't know if is that
Crackle?
audio, is that, it sounds like We Dem Boys.
In that video?
Yeah.
Yep. Kind of.
I got it from Soundstripe, so.
But it sounds like that. Does it sound like that to you?
It does. Yes, it does. Now that you say it, it does. I didn't really notice it, honestly, until now.
I was like, We the boys. That's all I could think of when I heard it. So,
Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah, we can. You're a little low, but I turned you up. So
Turn me up.
I gotta make sure to turn it back down before we go back to the break because it gets real loud otherwise.
Cool.
All right, let's see here. We've got plenty of bowl games to get to. There are a bunch. I don't even know how many, but I do know that that we've got them, and we're going to make our picks here against the spread. So, again, you have 3 steps. Watch us, pick against us, profit.
Bank run.
How this works.
Make money. Secure the
You
bag.
can secure the bag by taking our picks and going the opposite
The other
direction.
way.
All right. Do you have any updates on the?
I do not,
Okay, that's
because
fine.
that was Blue Cross Bowl weekend.
Yeah, it's fine. I just wanted to
Yeah.
make sure that before we went into it.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've got 10 games to pick before Friday of next week. So let's get into it. We'll start with the Myrtle Beach Bowl. It's the Ohio Bobcats of the MAC against the Clay Helton-led Georgia Southern Eagles. The spread is 1.5 points in favor of the 9-3 Bobcats over the 6-6 Golden Eagles.
Ohio is a 1.5 point favorite.
Ohio is a 1.5 point favorite in Myrtle Beach.
Versus Georgia State.
I'll go Ohio on this one. Bobcats, right? Bobcats?
Georgia Southern. Yes, they are the Bobcats. Yes.
I'll rock with them.
Georgia Southern is on a 4-game losing streak.
Ooh,
They were 6-2 going into Texas State, where they lost at Texas State, at Marshall, at home to Old Dominion, and then at App State. 3 of those 4 are not bad losses. Old Dominion at home is a bad loss. Meanwhile, Ohio on a 3-game win streak at Buffalo, at home against Central Michigan, and at Akron. All of those were midweek games. So
I was inclined before you told me that Georgia Southern is on a 3-game losing streak to take Georgia Southern. And I think I'm still inclined to do so. Just because I think they're better than Ohio.
here's the thing. Georgia Southern is a much better offensive team than Ohio is. I don't know how good Ohio's defense is considering their opponents. But they don't play they don't score a lot of points.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia Southern does, even in losses.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go with Georgia Southern as well. All right. Next is the Cricket Celebration Bowl. The National Championship of HBCUs.
Mm-hmm.
The Natty. On Saturday at 11 a.m. on ABC. It's the 6-5 Bison of Howard.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the most impressive coaching job of the season. 11-1 for the Florida A&M Rattlers.
Willie Simmons.
Willie Simmons is doing a heck of a job.
Kind of surprised he wasn't more highly considered for some of these openings.
I'm telling you that he was. I'm going to tell you that he was absolutely a candidate for some schools. He was not a candidate for Willie Simmons. He likes what he's doing at Florida A&M.
And ain't nothing wrong with that.
And they're happy to have him, and he's happy to be there. So
there you go. What's the number?
The number is 3.5
for
Florida A&M.
Florida A&M about 3.5.
I'm going to go Rattlers just because that's the coolest name ever.
It is a good one.
It is indeed. It is indeed.
Led by Jeremy Musa at quarterback are the Rattlers. 2,600 yards on the year, 19 touchdowns, just 7 interceptions. Conversely, Howard has Quentin Williams, who has 2,158 through the air, 16 touchdowns, just 4 interceptions. Get this, rushing leaders, 602 yards, 8 touchdowns for Howard's rushing leader, Jarrett Hunter. For Terrell Jennings of FAMU, 606 yards and 8 touchdowns.
Goodness.
So pretty well identical.
And pretty much an indication that they are pass first.
Both teams
Yeah.
are pass first.
So you got
So
it.
I'm going to go with Florida A&M. But it's just, the last 2 years, the underdog has won the game outright.
Yeah, 2 years ago with South Carolina State over Jackson State, right? Yeah.
Jackson lost last year, too, to somebody. I don't remember who that was. May have been Howard.
Might have been Howard. I believe I am going with the orange and green as well.
Did they not used to have pink in their uniform colors
Not that I remember.
at some point?
Not
Who
that I-
does? There's an HBCU that has pink.
Does Tuskegee do something with pink?
No, they're yellow.
They're maroon.
They're
and-
yellow and
yeah,
maroon.
Yeah. I don't know.
I could have sworn.
There's nobody that immediately springs to mind.
For whatever reason, I thought it was Florida A&M.
Hmm.
Anyway, the R&L Carriers, New Orleans Bowl, the Raging Cajuns of Louisiana, the Gamecocks of Jacksonville State, their first bowl game as FBS members. They did play in the Paper Bowl once in Pensacola, Florida,
Okay.
in the 50s or 60s or something, but those don't count.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first major bowl game for Jacksonville State. They are underdogs, 1.5 points to the Raging Cajuns. Zion Webb and Zion Chris are the quarterbacks.
I'm sorry. How much did you say?
1.5.
1.5.
What was Jacksonville State's record?
8-4 are the Gamecocks. 6-6, the Raging Cajuns. But
Gotcha.
if you listen to Sunbelt Conference fans, they'll tell you that is because the Sunbelt is just a meat grinder and they just beat up on each other every week. And that Conference USA is the worst conference in the country, which is not true.
No, it is not.
So,
Do I need to ask you who you're taking?
nope.
I'm gonna go with Chris on this one as well. Jack State.
The line, by the way, has moved 3 entire points in favor of the Gamecocks, who are now 2.5-point favorites. I would just like to point that out.
Oh, so they've gone from being underdogs to being favorites? Yeah. Let me have Jack State as well. I mean, I think I was going to take them anyway, primarily because I didn't want to have to fight you. But I mean,
Do what, Jacket, Justin?
How common is that? I bet that rarely happens. Like go from underdog
that
to
it flips like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's
Can't
not
imagine.
usual.
crazy.
So, this may be my favorite bowl game, commercial
That's from
wise.
Mexico.
Avocados from Mexico, the Cure Bowl, baby.
Avocados from Mexico Cure Bowl in Orlando. I mean, why is it not in Mexico City?
Or at least somewhere that makes a little more sense. But hey, it is what it is. Appalachian State and Miami of Ohio, the 8-5 Mountaineers, who were losers of the Sun Belt Championship game to Troy,
Mm-hmm.
and Miami of Ohio, the 11-2 MAC. Were they the MAC champions?
They might be the MAC champions. Would that make them the MAC daddies?
Ooh, I like it.
Boom.
Yes, they are. They beat Toledo in the MAC championship. So there you go.
If someone did not use that headline, then I don't know what they're doing with their lives.
What's the line?
Yeah.
The line is 4.5 points in favor of the Nears.
Oh yeah, let me get Miami of Ohio.
Miami of Ohio, led by quarterback Brett Gabbert.
Any relation?
My assumption is yes.
Blaine's there somewhere.
Let's just go and see where. Yep, out of Baldwin, Missouri is Blaine Gabbert. Brett from St. Louis. Sounds about like the same to me.
Sounds
So
pretty
if
close.
not brothers, at least cousins.
Mhm.
So I don't know. That's up to you. I'm going to take the Mountaineers, though. I just think Appalachian State's a little bit better football team. I think they cover the 4.5.
I'm taking Miami. So.
All right, 4 down, 1 to go before we take a break, and it is the runners-up of Conference USA, New Mexico State, taking on the pride of the WAC, the Fresno State Bulldogs. This one is the Isleta, New Mexico Bowl. So New Mexico State kind of getting a little home cooking in this bowl game. 2.5 points in favor of the Aggies.
I like New Mexico in this one. Let's do that one. Yeah. Hometown.
Wasn't Fresno one of the last G5s to lose?
They were at one point. They were at one point undefeated until losing to Wyoming, and then they won 3 more before losing 3 straight. At San Jose State, at home against New Mexico, and at San Diego State in Brady Hoke's finale.
Jeff Tedford is at Fresno?
No.
No.
He was, but he 2 weeks ago stepped away due to health reasons.
Oh.
And so there's that.
Okay, so he was earlier this year.
He was. But he has stepped away due to health reasons. And
who has been installed atop the Bulldogs?
Let's see here. Tim Skipper. Win one for the Gipper or the Skipper.
1-1 for the Skipper. Yeah. I don't know, man. I was going to take Fresno.
I was too.
But I think
Now
I'm going
not.
to take, yes, exactly. I think I'm going to roll with Jerry Kill and the Ags. Is that you as well?
That's me as well. I'm in MSU.
In State. All
right, let's take a break. When we come back, 5 more games on this pick'em. Stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
I am going to get us in trouble singing We Them Boys like that. Oh, man, welcome back in. Main Street Sports Today continues college football pick'em. We've still got Terry McCormick on the way. Eric Henry's talking Texas. We're going to get into some the weeds of college football and legislators and legal letters and the NCAA being the NCAA. All that coming your way a little bit later as well. But for now, the fun part as we continue picking these bowl games. On Saturday at 6:30, you can catch Boise State and the Bruins of UCLA. That's how it's written.
That is how it's written. It's capital U,
Little C,
small
little
C, L-A. I mean, why would it sound it out, right?
Kitchen. Kitchen. As I have been instructed to do.
Yeah. This is kind of sad for UCLA. I hate it when, like, New Mexico State is playing a bowl game in New Mexico. UCLA is playing a bowl game in Inglewood. I don't know if we get to it here, but Memphis is playing in the Liberty Bowl. I mean,
it's kind of like
Vandy.
How do you enjoy the bowl experience doing it in
your town?
Your town. So
it's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate.
And it shouldn't, as many bowls as there are, it shouldn't have to happen. Make a trade.
What is Starco?
Starco Brands.
Starco Brands is a 21st century consumer goods company. That's not vague at all. That's okay.
Yeah.
We do business.
That's it. Like, that's literally like, I don't even, this is so confusing. I guess so they are just they're basically like MGP in the bourbon world. They are a hired gun. They'll make whatever you need made. They make 3,000 products.
Explore our brands.
Or
Whip Shots.
Whatever that is.
Boozy just meant bougie. Vodka whipped cream. Let's see.
Okay. So,
Winona Pure.
Which is
like a popcorn flavoring. Yeah.
You spray it on your popcorn.
The Art of Sport, the #1 skincare brand for athletes.
That's a Kobe Bryant thing.
Let's see. Skylar, Dream and Clean.
Yeah. And
they are all over the board, man. They're into a little bit of everything.
Whatever you need made, they'll make it.
We can make it. We will make it.
So, yeah, that is interesting to say the least. So, Starco Brands, LA Bowl, Boise State.
So you're going to see a lot of commercials for Soylent and stuff like that.
For things you've never heard of.
Yeah, during this ball game.
Yeah, no doubt. UCLA is a 2.5-point favorite in this one.
I'm going to go Boise State. Let's do it.
Ooh.
You're going Boise, JK?
Yes, sir.
You know what? I am inclined to go Boise as well, because I think you're going to hear the word or the phrase, didn't want to be there, in this one at some point.
It's probably likely. Obviously, the big names for UCLA, Latu is out.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be without Kamari Ramsey and cornerback John Humphrey, as they both entered the transfer portal. They have a new defensive person calling plays, Akaya Malo, will call plays against Boise. He's the defensive line coach, so they don't have a defensive coordinator. But Boise also doesn't have a head coach. So there's that.
Is Andy Avalos? He's gone.
Gone. He is the defensive coordinator for like Baylor or something.
Okay. And the interim or the new coach is not going to coach him in the bowl game? Because they've hired somebody, right?
Spencer Danielson is the permanent coach. So yes, he was the interim.
And they elevated him. Okay.
So he is their head coach, and he has
they
been
got a
there.
coach.
So there's that. But their head coach is gone. I don't know if that makes a difference. They clearly like.
No, I mean they've
Daniels.
had a month.
Yeah,
I mean they got rid of Avalos before the season ended, right?
So I don't know that makes a big difference.
I don't think it does.
So yeah, I'm inclined to go with Boise here because of the people that UCLA aren't going to have. So there you go.
And then the number of people that they do have that don't want to be there.
And Boise is on a 4-game win streak, by the way.
Coaching change and all, huh?
I think that's how they got to 8-5. They were 4-5, got rid of Avalos, and
went
on a 4-game win streak.
Oh, okay. Well, that would do it.
Yeah.
That'll also get you hired permanently.
Sometimes, hopefully that works out in his favor.
Yeah.
Saturday at 8:15 on ESPN, Texas Tech and Cal.
This is
the Independence Bowl.
That's crazy. Talk about some culture shock.
Yeah, Cal, Berkeley going to Shreveport.
Oh, Lubbock, Texas going to Shreveport.
Yeah, but also not quite as crazy.
Oh no, not quite as crazy, but still.
It's not exactly the same, but there's no doubt. Texas Tech, a 2.5-point favorite over the Golden Bears of Cal. I tend to
What'd you say?
2.5. I tend to like that number. But Cal is on a 3-game win streak, including a 33-7 win over UCLA.
Whoa.
In their last time out.
I think that speaks more to UCLA than it does to Cal.
I think I'm gonna go Cal here. I was gonna say Texas Tech until you told me that little stat about their last game. That's a lot of points.
Yeah, they lost 50-49 to USC, lost 63-19 at Oregon, then beat Wazoo, beat Stanford, and then beat UCLA.
So they can give up some points.
Yeah.
Texas Tech can put up a few points.
Yeah, that Texas Tech. Well, in their last 5 games, they've scored 14 in a loss, 35 in a win, 16 in a win, 24 in a win, and 7 in a loss. Of course, that loss was to Texas.
Ooh.
So
wow.
I don't know. They're both 6-6. It's just a matter of who shows up.
Yeah.
This game is going to be this is a pick'em. This is a pick'em, and I'm going to go Texas Tech just because I think they have a little bit more depth. And there's no other reason than that.
I'm going to go Texas Tech as well.
I mean, a field goal wins it. Field goal game, so it's a pick'em.
Yeah.
Old Dominion, 6-6.
The Monarchs
taking on your favorite team. Monday at 1:30 on ESPN, the Hilltoppers of WKU. Both teams coming in on 2-game win streaks. The last loss for Old Dominion was a 38-10 loss at Liberty.
What's the line?
Not a whole lot of shame in that.
Right.
What's the number?
The number is 3.5 points in favor of the Hilltoppers.
Go Hilltoppers.
ESPN analytics give Western a 60% chance to win to start.
Well,
wow.
I've got a blind spot about the size of this room when it comes to Western, but having said that, I'm still going with the Monarchs.
Here's my thing is I know that you can't root for Western, and that's fine because I can't root for Kennesaw when they get here, and I'm not going to. But just about anybody else in Conference USA, I'm rooting for.
I got you.
Because we need the conference to
do well.
We need to get that boost going forward. So I'm going to go with Western and hope.
I get it. And you're not wrong. I mean, Conference USA needs to go out and do well, but
They really do.
how many Conference USA teams are in bowls?
4.
Okay, well, we can go 3-1. That'll be fine.
Especially if Liberty wins the New Year's Six Bowl.
Yeah, we can go
Be
3-1.
perfectly fine.
Mhm.
Marshall and UTSA in the
Speaking of
Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl.
Scooters Coffee Frisco.
UTSA is not in Conference USA anymore.
Oh, that's right. They are
Neither
in-
is Marshall. This is a conference matchup last year. Just FYI. This is literally Conference USA.
Marshall
in
is Sun
2020.
Belt.
Yes.
Texas San Antonio is
AAC.
AAC.
But it's a 2022 Conference USA game. How much does that have to suck?
How much does that have to suck? But
At least you're in Frisco.
You got a little scouting.
Yeah,
done.
yeah,
I mean,
you-
you got some familiarity, not, maybe not 2023 familiarity, but
And that is why UTSA is an 8.5-point favorite in this one.
UTSA.
That's my pick. I'm going to
8.5.
UTSA for sure.
Look, I don't have any information on this. I need to know if Frank Harris is going to play. If Frank Harris is playing, then UTSA wins this by 10 points.
At least.
If he doesn't play, and I can't imagine why he wouldn't, then they may not. But I'm going to assume
That he is?
that he is, and I'm taking the Roadrunners. Beep, beep.
Justin, did you say UTSA as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah,
Maybe.
give me the Roadrunners as well, just because they sound so much more, maybe not intimidating than a Thundering Herd, but I think
A little faster, maybe?
Who
They-
could they outrun a Thundering Herd?
they would certainly be motivated to do so.
Yeah. That's true. Here's what I hate.
What do you hate?
The Wednesday, the 20th, will be the first day without football since before Conference USA started playing in October.
Has there been football every day?
I mean, well, I guess after the conference championships.
Yeah,
But I mean, it just feels like we've had football every single day. And then the 20th, we do not. The 21st, we do, however, at 7 o'clock on ESPN as the Orange of Syracuse and the South Florida Bulls meet in Boca Raton at FAU Stadium, where it will be 72 degrees and perfection, my friends. Partly cloudy, 72, Syracuse
Give
and
it to me.
South Florida. The line is 4.5 in favor of the Orange. Garrett Schrader will be the signal caller for the Orange. Byron Brown for the Alex Golish-led offense of doubles. South Florida 6-6, Syracuse 6-6 as well in the ACC.
I think I'm going to go with Garrett Schrader's experience and Syracuse's excitement to be playing somewhere warm on December 21st. And I'm taking the Orange.
I as well will take the Orange.
Give me Golish, baby. 4.5 points. May not win it, but I think they're gonna.
A field goal?
Give me doubles.
The Bulls. All right.
All right. We've made 10 picks.
There's plenty more where those came
There
from.
are plenty. Matter of fact, we will see you guys. Well, we won't pick again until Friday of next week.
Mhm.
But after that, it gets really crazy because we have to pick on a Wednesday and then another Friday, and it gets crazy.
So
But
just stay tuned.
stay tuned. Should be exciting. Let's go now to a break. Terry McCormick standing by with your daily Titans update right after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Custom Stone Handlers supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Time now for the Daily Titans update as Terry McCormick joins us with some big news.
Yes, guys, it is your Daily Titans report powered by Zen Sports as always. And some really big news coming out of Titans camp today as nose tackle Teair Tart is going to be released by the team. Now, interestingly enough, Mike Vrabel met with us at the end of practice today, and he was asked about Teair Tart, who has not been here all week due to, quote, personal reasons, as what was listed on the injury report. And he said, and the transcript is out now, and I quote, it says, asked if there's anything the fans should know about Teair Tart's personal reasons for being out. No, don't read too much into that one. And about 30 minutes later, a report came out, and I have since confirmed it, that Teair Tart is going to be cut.
The personal reasons are he and his coaches can't get along.
I think you're right on the money there, Chris. I think, I think they didn't really, I know Vrabel in the past has always kind of, chided him and been on to him about his conditioning, about being better conditioned so he could play more snaps. I think sometimes attitude has kind of come into factor, maybe not hustling. There was one time on Vrabel's television show, the coaches show that he has, I think it was a play where Kevin Byard recovered a fumble, and he stopped the film, showed Byard there in the pile, going in to dive in and get the fumble, and there's Tart standing beside of him, just outside the pile. And Vrabel, I think, remarked something like, here's an example of hustling to the ball, and here's an example of not hustling to the ball. So
look,
it's evident that for all the talent that Teair Tart has, that something was not clicking between him and Vrabel. And it's interesting, too, because another guy that Vrabel has kind of chided in the past too, Christian Fulton was placed on injured reserve this week with a hamstring injury, and he seemed a little caught off guard by that. So some of the weeding out process has started, if you will, here.
Yeah, and a lot easier to do that when you just beat Miami without those two guys on the field. Makes you feel a little bit.
Although Tar did play against Miami, he was on the field, played 31 snaps, I believe it was. But still, it's interesting though. This does hurt them defensive line wise because you think about it. Simmons is going to be out again this week with the knee injury. Pecco went on injured reserve with a calf injury. He's done for the year. They brought in two guys off other teams' practice squads on Wednesday, I believe it was. So going to be hard to get them up to speed. So get ready for a lot of Jaleel Johnson, TK McClendon, and probably Marlon Davidson on Sunday afternoon, along with Danico Autry, if he's able to go, because he's questionable with the flu.
Nice.
Look, Titans are 5-8?
5-8.
And little to no shot in making the playoffs. At this point, I think if Mike Vrabel is going to be here long term, and I feel like he is going to be here long term, I think he and Rand Carthon are starting to draw some lines in the sand. You're going to play football the Mike Vrabel way, or you're not going to play football in Tennessee. And I'm not necessarily opposed to that at the professional level.
No, I mean, I think so too. I mean, I think clearly what's going on here, guys, is, he sees two guys who are on expiring contracts in Tart and Fulton. Two guys clearly are going to be elsewhere next year. They're not going to be part of the plans. So not only do you take them out of the equation here with these moves, but it gives you a chance to look at some guys to say, okay, does this guy fit what we want to do? Does this guy over here fit what we want to do? Let's give him a shot and find out.
Here's what it also does, Terry. It gives you a chance to send a message with a couple of guys that you weren't going to keep anyway.
That's exactly right.
Absolutely it does. Absolutely it does. Kind of piggybacking off what Chris said. You're going to play the Mike Vrabel way, or you're going to play somewhere else.
But it gives you the chance to
make an example,
be a hammer.
Yep.
And it's with guys who were expendable.
Exactly, because you're being the hammer with guys who are going to be out the door anyway, guys that you didn't want to keep. That way you don't have to make an example of somebody that maybe you do want to keep, who's already here. Maybe they'll get the message.
Right.
And I think, look, I mean, again, I love this because that's exactly how Mike Vrabel has coached during practice, on the field. He's tough. I think he's fair. I think he's been very fair with the way that he's coached this team. He's not really had an opportunity over the last 2 years to do a whole lot of roster management, considering they've been forced to play so many players that wouldn't have necessarily played otherwise due to injury. So I think it just goes to show that, look, Mike Vrabel cares about the Tennessee Titans organization, and if he didn't, he wouldn't be making these examples.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. And I think that, going forward, it sends a clear-cut message as to you have to do A, B, C, and D if you want to be here.
Sunday, obviously, look, I know we've made a lot of about CJ Stroud, and I've said on numerous occasions that we've lost to Davis Mills before, so don't get too excited about that. But this Texans defense is really what has been, kind of their big their calling card this year. They are really good on defense, and that's, of course, a D'Amico Ryans thing. So, is Tennessee's offense, especially the offensive line, ready for this defense on Sunday?
It's certainly a good question. And by the way, officially, CJ Stroud is listed as doubtful by the Texans. The only player they've declared out is cornerback Tavier Thomas with a hamstring.
I only knew that he was doubtful because
they've also declared out Blake Cashman with a hamstring and Will Anderson. That's a big one.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes a difference.
So they have declared 3 defensive players out and CJ Stroud doubtful. So that's certainly worth monitoring too. So it's kind of like it always is at this time of the year for a lot of teams. It's a battle of attrition. Who can step in and fill in better than the other guys fill in players, because every team is dealing with injuries, some more so than others, obviously, but Titans hurting on the defensive line, Texans hurting on the defensive side as well.
This Sunday is going to be an interesting football game, y'all.
See who shows up.
It's going to be shirts and skins and picking it on the sideline like it's playground ball, I guess. But the good thing is we won't have to try to block Will Anderson. That's always a positive, considering the offensive line woes of the Tennessee Titans, who, by the way, includes Aaron Brewer, who has the most pressures and sacks given up by a center in the National Football League in 2023. I know you're all surprised to hear that statistic.
Well, I mean, he's an athletic guy, but the bottom line is this.
Too small.
He's about 25 pounds too light to be an NFL center and be an effective guy in the middle on a down in, down out basis. When you go in there and you're 290 or 295, makes a big difference than, going against somebody that weighs 315, 320.
Yeah. Nose guards are usually the big fellas. And if you're lined up across one like that, it's not ideal for Aaron Brewer and the Titans. So we'll see how DeMeco Ryans plays it. We'll see how Tim Kelly plays it. I think it's going to be interesting to see how much Tajay Spears plays after, how well the offense ran in the late stages of that game on Monday night. Do you think we'll see more hurry up?
Possibly, but I think the one thing that I want to see out of the Titans, I want to see Will Levis not take a step back. I want to see him take a step forward and see if he can put up maybe not the same type of numbers, because I'm not sure you want to see him throw 38 times every week, but you want to see him in the way he played toward the end of that game without the costly mistakes he had in the first couple of quarters.
Absolutely. I'd love to see him go for 250, 260, maybe 60, 65 completion rate, and, keep the ball out of the other team's hands. That's the most important thing. Just don't throw it to the other team.
Yep.
That's number one on the list of things not to do. All right. Well, if you don't have anything else, if you do, let us know. But if you don't have anything else, tell us about Zen Sports.
The new sports betting app exclusively in Tennessee the last few months, and I'm excited to share with you some big news. Now, when you sign up for a Zen Sports account, you will receive up to a $1,000 no danger first wager. That's right. When you place your first bet in Zen Sports with up to plus 500 odds, you can be reimbursed for the amount of your bet up to a $1,000 maximum within 24 hours if the bet loses. And there's more good news. Zen Sports is rolling out its brand new VIP rewards program. This new VIP rewards program will allow top-tier customers to earn more bonuses, comps, and perks. The VIP program is by invite only, so if you feel your Zen Sports play qualifies for VIP consideration, please check out the program details and apply at zensports.com/VIP. No other sportsbook will offer you a premier sports betting experience with 24/7 top-tier customer support and faster withdrawals than Zen Sports. So what are you waiting for? Get going and download their app at zensports.com today. Zen Sports, betting just got better. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 and older and in Tennessee to bet.
He shoots, and he scores!
Since 1975, Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic has treated the orthopedic needs of Middle Tennessee residents. The trained physicians provide surgical options and minimally invasive options to treat all orthopedic needs. The walk-in clinic, OrthoQuick, helps you bypass the ER while treating sports injuries and acute needs Monday through Saturday. Visit MTBJ online at mtbj.net or on social media at Mid-Tennessee Bone Joint Clinic.
Smiles. These are the healthy smiles of real Delta Dental members. Folks with access to the nation's largest network of dentists and low-deductible plans with 100% preventive care coverage, all backed by over 65 years of expertise. Go online or give us a call to learn about affordable individual plans that meet your needs. 1-855-844-0445.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Alamo Patton here on this Friday edition. We're going to talk a little NFL, continue our NFL discussion here for just a moment, but we do have some news that we want to get to at some point, but I don't know if we've got enough time to get to it before Eric Henry gets on the show. So
we might have to push it to after, but we do need to get to it.
We are definitely going to. We're going to talk about the college football playoff, and friend of the show, Bill Hancock, and his
had something to say.
He had something to say in his response to Senator Rick Scott. So we will get to that in a little bit. Looking forward to it. Trust me.
It will be spicy.
Right now, though, after an historic and disastrous loss to the Raiders.
Historic and disastrous. You never want those two words listed next to a loss of your team.
If it's going to be historic, it better not be disastrous.
And if it's going to be disastrous, it better not be historic. But when it's both, then folks lose jobs.
And that is what happened. Look, I would like to applaud the Los Angeles Chargers organization for letting Brandon Staley get on the plane. Because that was at least somewhat nice of them.
Because they certainly didn't have to.
Because the tarmac has been a place that people have gotten fired.
But it's been the tarmac once you got home, though. It wasn't on the departing end. It was on the arriving end on the tarmac. But, I mean, you could have very easily told Brandon Staley, dude, find your own way home and be completely within rights.
Absolutely.
No, we're not wasting a seat. We're not wasting plane fuel on getting you back.
Look,
63-21
would not
down 42-0 at the half.
Would not have been the first time a man's life got upended in Vegas. That's all I'm saying. And it certainly will not be the last.
No.
But Brandon Staley's life certainly was upended in Vegas. They were down what? Were they down?
Stop.
50?
What happened in Vegas did not stay in Vegas.
Luckily, he got to go home. Thank goodness. 50. What was the score when Austin Eckler decided to give the first down?
Oh no!
They were.
I wasn't watching.
Hold on.
I was listening to it on my way back from a ball game.
My friend Aaron Ryan posted. He said, "This is the kind of energy I want in my life. If you're not willing to talk trash, even when you're down by 56, I don't want you on my team."
So 63-6, 63-7, and he gave a
signaling first down to a Raiders player. Just first down, baby.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, and listen, Brandon Staley, not the only Chargers staffer to be relieved of their duties today. GM Tom Telesco also fired alongside.
Chris, that reminds me of one of my summer league baseball teams. We played a doubleheader against a team where 2 7-inning ball games. I think we scored multiple runs in every inning. and they talk trash from warm-ups to the end of the second game.
Hey, listen, talk your stuff.
Talk
man.
your stuff, man. Yeah.
You know, look, I'm not going to be mad at anybody for.
Hey, be committed to it.
And here's exactly one, you're not backing down from it, and two, at least it shows that you still give a crap, even down 56.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's one way to look at it for sure. Man, it's like, and I mean, what are the Raiders doing when Eckler is doing that? It's like, dude, are you serious?
Kamal
Yeah,
Hadden
100 more of those, and what?
Kamal Hadden will have a place in LA. Because it don't matter how good or bad he is playing, he's gonna talk his trash.
He would be on the Chargers draft board.
Absolutely. Maybe not now with Telesco gone.
Wow.
But yeah, look. If you're gonna do it, you go ahead. You absolutely enjoy talking that trash. I
Down
think it's
56.
a little silly.
Down 8 touchdowns.
I wouldn't do that, but
I'd be trying to just get the game over with and get out.
I'm not going to waste time doing that.
Let's get on the ball and run the next play and get on out of here. Yeah, but I mean,
thank goodness for Josh Palmer, by the way, Ball for Life.
What's crazy is the Raiders lost 3-0 to Minnesota on Sunday. 3-0
to nothing. The defense has clearly been pretty good the last couple of weeks against backup quarterbacks.
But I mean, you go from nothing to 9 touchdowns. Now 2 of those were defensive touchdowns, but still, one of which was a thick 6. Thank you, Chip.
I'm trying to find the box score from last night.
Well, be careful because box scores are not.
So Easton Stick did play the entire game.
Well, he needed to.
Listen, Easton Stick's line is really kind of impressive. Okay. 23 of 32 for 257, 3 touchdowns and a pick.
Now that pick went back to the house.
Okay, but you look at that and you go, okay, well, that's not bad for a backup playing his first game.
Right.
Like that's kind of wild.
I mean, that's acceptable.
You'll take that most of the time. Now, when the rest of your team goes, rushes 28 times for 92 yards, then, you got problems. But Josh Palmer, man, 4 catches, 113 yards, and a 79-yard touchdown. Thanks,
I can't
JP.
find a scoring summary. Here we go.
Oh, you're looking for
here we go.
A scoring summary? Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty lengthy. Like I said, it was 42-0 at halftime, and then the Raiders scored early in the third quarter to make it 49-0. And again, had a fumble return for a touchdown and had a pick 6 to close it out. So
a fumble return at the end of the third quarter and then opened the fourth quarter just about 29 seconds in with a pick 6.
Hey, the Raiders did not score an offensive touchdown in the final 15 minutes.
Well,
or longer.
I was about to say, except for 10:42 in the third was their last offensive touchdown.
Yeah, so the final 25 minutes they did not score an offensive touchdown.
Now I don't know.
Good job, Chargers.
I don't know who was playing offense for for the Raiders at that time. I mean, as you can see, Jacoby Myers was 2 for 2 for 12 yards and a touchdown. In this one.
Which I can't help but ask, who is Jacoby Myers?
Well, I'm glad you asked because I can.
So Jacoby Myers threw for a touchdown and caught one?
Well, he's a wide receiver. He completed 2 passes. They used a wide receiver to throw 2 passes in this game. You got to give it up for Jacoby Myers, man. Man of many talents.
Obviously.
What a game. What a night. And obviously, Brandon Staley,
he will long remember it.
He will, in fact. And,
oh, man.
it's tough because you do have a You've got a backup quarterback playing, but you can't give up 63 points, 49 of which on your defense gave up. You can't give up 49 points against a team that did not score
Didn't
the
score.
week before.
Didn't score.
They were clearly just saving points for this week.
Well, I mean, it's a rivalry game.
So, anyway, let's take a break. When we come back, Eric Henry joins us talking about Texas transfer portal, first SEC schedule, all of that and more coming your way right after this. Stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao and Mo Patton here on this Friday. Half hour left. A lot of fun stuff to talk about. Going to be college football for the rest of the way as we bring in Horns 24/7's Eric Henry, talking a little Texas. What's going on, man?
Chris and Mo, what is going on, fellas? First off, I gotta holler at you guys' producer. Not the photo you have there, but the photo you guys ran in the commercial break. I have not seen that photo in years. If memory serves me correct, that is a photo that I took with Sarah Spain from ESPN when she saved my butt and helped me graduate from grad school. I was running out of ideas for a grad thesis, and luckily Sarah saved my behind. But I was like, I have not seen that photo in forever. So I had to acknowledge that. But outside of that, what's going on, fellas?
Well, you tell us, man. I remember we had you on for a show back over the summer, and we were discussing the University of Texas. I guess it was coming out of SEC Media Days. And we were discussing Texas. We were discussing the Texas quarterback room. And somebody said that Texas really needs Quinn Ewers to have a great year and go out in the draft.
Yeah.
And that didn't quite happen. And so there's been some attrition in that room.
Now what?
And it's not Quinn Ewers. Yeah. Talk about the latest development there.
Well, Mo, let's hang tight for a second because
Mm-hmm.
you said that hasn't happened yet. I said this. It's funny you mentioned that because I was talking with some people on the beat as we were making our way through Jerry World AT&T Stadium. Which, man, if you guys have not been, that is such a massive facility. Just trying to get down from the press box to the press room, this press room to that press room. It's a jaunt in itself. But I was telling one of the guys on the beat, I was saying, hey, with Quinn, there's still time for him. Quinn was saying the reports from Pete Thamel and others were saying that Quinn has decided to come back to school. And I was saying that, hey, he could go out and throw 5 touchdowns in the Big 12 title game and then throw 5 touchdowns if Texas makes the college ball playoff. And then you almost can't come back because you'll be riding that momentum. Your stock will be at its highest point. Well, we're halfway through to one of those circumstances, right? Quinn had a hell of a Big 12 title game, throwing for 400 and something yards. And I think it was 4 touchdowns. It may have been 5, if memory serves correct. And he could go out against Washington, a Pac-12 defense that, is solid, but not anything that's game breaking by stretch of imagination, and throw 3-4 touchdowns. And at that point, we're having a different discussion. So as far as Quinn, I think there's still room to see where those things shake out. Now, of course, when you talk about the attrition, you're referring to Malik Murphy. In my mind, I was just did a radio spot earlier today in Birmingham, WJOX, and I told the host that I think
Smith and Landon Roberts, good folks.
Yeah. I think Malik choosing to enter the transfer portal is more of a byproduct of, quite frankly, and this is my opinion, you can attribute it to me, the NCAA being a day late, a dollar short when it comes to adapting to the changing landscape of college football. So
that never happens.
Never, right? Who could have seen that coming?
Yeah.
You've instituted the transfer portal, you've instituted NIL and all these factors, but this is the first case, guys. And if you guys can think of anyone else, feel free to call them out. I haven't been able to recall anybody who has been either a non-starter or someone who wasn't going to be a surefire thing into the NFL draft, who's been a player on a college football playoff team, who in theory is going to have to choose between, do I stick with my team and go through their college football playoff run, or do I enter the portal? Usually the players we're talking about who are in those situations are guys who are choosing to not play in the bowl game to go to the NFL draft, or for whatever reason, they just are a starter and someone who is going to be on the roster. We're not usually talking about a high-profile backup, someone who probably is going to be in the quarterback competition race or maybe in the competition for a starting job next year. So the fact that you have this early signing day and you have the first transfer portal window, Malik was left with no option, especially considering how quarterback heavy this year's transfer portal class has been, unless he was going to wait until the second portal window, in which case you're going to have a lot of these guys are going to be landing their homes and finding their spots. And that could have left Malik not out in the cold because he was going to find his home, but just less of a selection than before. So to bring it all the way back around to your question, Mo, Malik leaving, in my mind, is a bigger byproduct of the way the calendar falls as opposed to necessarily, something Texas quarterback room. It would have been a competition with him and Arch Manning, while Arch certainly has progressed from the time we spoke in the summer. Even if Quinn had come back, I think while Quinn certainly did a lot for himself this year, it still would have been a competition. But in my mind, I think almost the worst case scenario for Steve Sarkisian is if Quinn does end up having an excellent CFP and leaves, and then it's like, man, what I was once the top quarterback room in the nation is now just Arch and the guys we're bringing in.
I hadn't thought about it that way, but that makes a lot of sense. And suddenly, like you said, Texas is on the horns of a dilemma.
Nice. Well done. Well done. I'm usually the one with the weird, bad puns. So Mo getting one in makes me feel very good.
What are you hearing as far as potential landing spots for Malik at this point? Are you hearing anything?
Some of the places that I've kind of heard and kind of felt, I think Malik is destined to head back to the West Coast. Malik's a West Coast guy. He's a Cali guy. Malik takes a lot of pride. I'll give you a funny story, guys. So, it's not often that you hear a underclassman, a redshirt freshman who is in control of the music in the locker room, after practice and post games and everything. And Malik is one of those guys to show you how much he was well liked by his teammates. He was on, and I'm quoting the teammates here, like, Malik's always on the aux. It's always his phone hooks up to the aux cord that's controlling the music. And some of the guys in the locker room were like, man, Malik's our guy. We love him, but we're tired of hearing that West Coast music because Malik's always playing that West Coast stuff, if that gives you any inkling to kind of who he is. And that's his personality, guys. He is a laid back West Coast California guy. So I think UCLA is going to be in play with Chip Kelly. I think, even Washington with Michael Penix moving on, that could be an option. Something that I've seen that I think is intriguing, but it would be a little hard for me to kind of picture being a fit is Florida. Billy Napier needing a quarterback. Obviously, they have they have a highly touted recruit who's coming in, but Billy Napier, if you look at his 2 years there, I believe 11 wins off the top of my head, 5 wins this year. He needs someone who's going to hit immediately, and that could be a situation there where they need a quarterback, and they have some players there. Maybe you could stick him and be a plug and play. But in my mind, I think he's destined to head back to the West Coast. I even look at like Arizona State as someone, for example, who could be in play for Malik services.
What about a San Diego State?
They got 3 quarterbacks. They don't need no more.
Well, they don't need any more. They got 3 quarterbacks. They ain't got me, said Malik.
Well, let me answer that to you this way, Mo. That certainly could be a landing spot, but in the age of NIL, can they afford Malik Murphy services? I think that's
here. And with Eric said it, and in the age of NIL, I guess one could say that Malik is laid back with his mind on his money
and his money on his mind.
So NIL is going to play a big part in this. And I don't think San Diego State can afford him, but I'm curious who could and who needs him. This might be blasphemy, but USC is in the market for a quarterback, and Lincoln Riley's out there. I'm just saying. So
that could be another landing spot as well. And they can afford them. Like they can
exactly.
And listen to all the fans out there who may hate the conversation around affording X player. Like we can't close that box anymore. It's open.
No,
so
it's open, and
got to deal with the realities.
And as a friend of mine is fond of saying, if money is the issue, then there is no issue when it comes to USC and this situation. So it's going to bear watching. On the field, Eric, what are your thoughts about this Texas-Washington matchup without Malik Murphy?
Without Malik. No, guys, I am very adamant. I think this game, Washington's game plan, they're going to look at the tape of Oklahoma and say, how can we execute that? And what I mean by that is this. Oklahoma kept Texas's base defense on the field for the majority of that ball game, specifically by going up-tempo RPO. A guy like Dylan Gabriel can use his legs adequately, very similar to Michael Penix. I would say Michael Penix is probably a more polished passer than Dylan Gabriel, and maybe that's a little bit even closer than I'm giving Dylan Gabriel credit for, because the guy is the nation's active leading passer in terms of passing yards. Certainly that's what I'm familiar with from his days at UCF, but very good passers and people who can use their legs. When I talked with linebacker Jalen Ford and nickelback Jahdae Barron postgame after the Oklahoma game, they said the thing that, not that they weren't physically prepared for, but mentally prepared for and expecting, was to play all 85 plays of that ball game. Jalen played 85, Jahdae played 84. It's one thing where, Jahdae is someone who may play up to 60, 65 plays a game, but even Jalen is more in that 50, 55-ish range. They tend to move their guys out. Where that's going to play a big factor is we know that Mr. Sweat and Mr. Murphy up front, those are the guys who make this defense go. They spearhead this defense. T'Vondre Sweat, the Outland Award winner, Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. Byron Murphy, Big 12 Defensive Lineman of the Year. Those two big defensive tackles up front. Texas likes to, whether it's Bo Davis, Pete Kwiatkowski, Steve Sarkisian, they like to flip those guys in and out, right? Like have them wreaking havoc on first and second down. On third down, bring that NASCAR package with guys like Alfred Collins, Vernon Broughton, Jamon Tapp, Ethan Burke, Justice Finkley, and others who are going to rush, right? But if you're going up-tempo RPO, obviously those guys aren't getting off the field. That played a big factor. So in my mind, the biggest X factor for this game
is cramps.
Cramps, right? Hey, it's Jaron Thompson, get down, right? Like something.
Leg.
In my mind, guys, that's the biggest X factor. And one other thing that I will mention, I think is crucial, kind of going under the radar here, safety play. Jalen Catalon, the Arkansas transfer, he hit the portal. His timing surprised me.
Oh.
Yes, Cat's snaps were going down a bit and he'd been banged up, but I just felt that, for a guy who's looking to play at the next level, if he has, 1 or 2 big plays in the CFP, that does more for his stock in my mind than another year elsewhere. But where that is a big factor for Texas is, star safety Derek Williams Jr., the true freshman who's come in and really been a starter ever since the 3rd, 4th game of the year. He got hit with the targeting call. In my mind, it was a weak targeting call, but he got hit with one against Oklahoma State. He's going to be out for the entire first half. So that leaves Texas, because Catalon and BJ Allen are in the transfer portal, with 3 safeties. And you're talking about a team that's rotated up to 5, 6 safeties each game. The 3 safeties are Jaron Thompson, Michael Taft, and Keaton Crawford. So where are they going to, especially facing a team like Washington that can throw the ball, Michael Penix is going to target those guys. Keaton Crawford, Michael Taft, not the best in coverage. I mean, I would say Taft is adequate. Jaron Thompson, look at the Pro Football Focus ratings. He's rated the highest in coverage. But even Jaron has had his lapses at times. How can they hold down the fort for the first half until they get Derek Williams back? So those are the 2 big things that I'm keeping my eye on defensively, especially a Texas secondary that struggled over the past 4 or 5 weeks.
Eric C. Henry of Horns 24/7 joining us, and this is going to be an interesting football game. Obviously, Texas feels like it has a chance to win a national championship here. And when we talked to you before the season, man, we talked, is Texas back? And if not this year, then when? Because the Big 12 was theirs to lose, and obviously there were some question marks after that Oklahoma game, but the way that they responded, the way that, we saw them play in the last 2 weeks of the season against Texas Tech and Oklahoma State, it really feels like they're hitting their stride at the right time. So my viewpoint is that Steve Sarkisian has Texas in the place that they want to be heading into the SEC next year. Is this going to be a national championship caliber team going forward?
There's no doubt that Sark, this is the type of season, guys. When I spoke with you, I remember I was coming off of a very hot practice field there at Austin, sweating my behind off. But this is the season that all Texas fans envisioned, Steve Sarkisian, the Texas program, envisioned. Winning the Big 12, closing it out in decisive fashion, making the college football playoff. Yes, the season has fared and played out really well. But this roster, in my mind, guys, is SEC ready. You take a look at some of the contributors, as I mentioned. True freshman, Derek Williams Jr., back there, arguably the team's best safety. True freshman in the corner, Malik Muhammad, a guy who, in my mind, kind of reminds you a bit of a Trevon Diggs type, someone who is such a really good, in my mind, impressed man who's going to take his chances, but really can be a lockdown cornerback. You look at Anthony Hill, the Big 12 freshman of the year. Listen, guys, that is a name that if you're not familiar with in SEC country, get familiar with now, because he is someone who he has finished second this team in sacks with 5, had 60-something tackles. And I mean this respectfully to A. Hill. At times, he doesn't even look like he truly knows what he's doing out there, in the sense of he just knows, go to the ball and find it, right? Like, wait till he has a full offseason of developing as a defensive player and kind of getting that, the system under his belt. Right now, he's just a heat-seeking missile looking for the football, and he makes plays. Again, Arch Manning, you have him in tow. C.J. Baxter, the true freshman. People talk about Jonathan Brooks, and JB had a great year until the torn ACL. People forget that C.J. Baxter was a true freshman who was the running back 1 out of camp, and is closing the season as the RB1 with a lot of momentum. And guys like John Tate Cook, a true freshman who's been right there. And that's not even talk about the recruiting class, getting guys like Ryan Wingo, the 5th best player in the nation, Colin Simmons to pair on the edge with A. Hill. So in my mind, yes, this roster is SEC ready now and still recruiting at a level that I think is SEC worthy.
Mississippi State is the first SEC game that Texas will play in 2024. That'll be in Austin before they get an off week ahead of the Red River
rivalry.
Yeah.
Shootout if you ask the folks out here, guys. I'm just telling you, I got myself in trouble when I said rivalry. I guess
it's shootout.
It's the shootout. But
then they get Austin. In Austin, they get Georgia. They also get Florida in Austin. They got to go to Texas A&M, which, as you said, was annoying to a lot of folks because the last time they played was in College Station as well. So A&M's getting back-to-back home games against
12 years apart.
Yeah,
It's neither here nor there.
You think Texas people care? They don't. Other than that, how do they feel about this roster or this schedule coming up?
Well, you talked about it, right? I mentioned it earlier on JOX, but yeah, I mean the folks in Texas, they wanted that game in Austin because obviously they played in College Station last time, and we all know the feelings between Texas A&M fans. I'm sure Texas A&M as a program thought that they wouldn't be dealing with Texas as a conference mate again, but that's the business of college football. I think the big thing in this schedule, and I talked about it a little bit earlier, is that sequence where you go Oklahoma, Georgia. I mean, that's there isn't a stretch in my mind, the Big 12, that's really comparable to getting Oklahoma, Georgia. And I wrote about it when the schedule came out. I think that 3-game stretch where they go Oklahoma, Georgia, and you go on the road to Vandy. Now, listen, Vandy's certainly rebuilding a 2-win team this year, but you head to Nashville, that's certainly a town that can get some folks in trouble. And you're going to have a lot of folks from Austin looking forward to make that trip to Nashville for the first time. So I just think that's a stretch.
Cowboys.
Exactly, right? So I just think that's a stretch there that it's the biggest 3-game stretch of the schedule that I really look at and be like, all right, that can make or break the year. Because, I mean, let's think about it for a second, guys. Week 2, you're going to Ann Arbor. You got the 4 non-conference games. They don't get a break until that bye week. Luckily, that bye week comes before you play Oklahoma. And then coming out of that 3-game stretch, you get a bye week again. So we're going to know a lot about this Texas team and whether or not they're going to be a contender next year just by week 7 or 8. And another thing, I think, being here in Austin, it's very rare that, a Texas game is not the show in town. But you got Formula One coming to town that same weekend as the Georgia game. So I said this earlier, I'm taping this here in my downtown apartment here. I'm about 1.5 miles from DKR Texas Memorial Stadium. This sports writer who certainly, may, double as a capitalist, I'm making a modest sports writer salary. I might try to put this place up for Airbnb that weekend and make a couple bucks because listen, the market here in Austin, I mean, the hotels, I can't remember who I saw one. I wish I could source it. I can't remember who, but someone said that hotels already are at $800-900. So just saying.
When you said that you were 1.5 miles from DKR, Eric, my first response was, does 24/7 have any openings, man? Because clearly we know who's making the money out there. Yeah, shoot.
I'll tell you this, and you mentioned $800-900. That's major. But the only reason it's that low is because Georgia fans have already sold out Tuscaloosa at $4,500 a hotel room in Tuscaloosa 2 weeks prior. That's the only reason it's still under $1,000 is because they've already spent all their money to go to Tuscaloosa.
Let me give you a quick story. So I was booking my travel. I hope the folks at CBS, maybe I'm not revealing industry secrets here, but I get reimbursed for travel afterwards, right? And I'm booking my travel for Alabama. I got on the beat in July. So a lot of the other Texas beat writers are like, listen, you're, out of luck when it comes to booking your travel for Tuscaloosa because we did that months ago. I'm thinking I'm going to swoop in and, just get a hotel for $400. No. Little did I learn that's big business in Tuscaloosa. The Spring Hill Suites in Tuscaloosa was going for something like $900. So I had to stay in Birmingham and drive over to Tuscaloosa for the game. So
it's insanity, my friend. It's insanity. We're looking forward to the college football playoff and next year in the SEC, and we look forward to talking to you again before then. And good luck on your trip to New Orleans. Just be careful out there.
I will try my best. Chris and Mo, anytime. Appreciate y'all having me on.
Thanks, Eric. That was Eric C. Henry with CBS Sports. I misidentified his affiliation.
Orange 24/7 is Orange 24/7 is CBS.
Oh.
Yeah, they're affiliates.
Oh.
CBS Sports and Orange 24/7 are.
Oh, good Lord. I can't keep up.
It's been, how long has it been since 24/7 was here? Weren't they based? They were created in Brentwood, weren't they?
I believe so. Yeah.
And so I think they sold to CBS. So that, yeah.
I pulled 12 years out of the air, but the last time Texas and Texas A&M did play was November 24, 2011. So it will have been 13 years when they go back to College Station.
Unbelievable.
That's crazy.
Let's take a very quick break promo here. And when we come back, we've got one more segment of college football, and it's going to be a doozy. You're not going to want to miss it.
This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat.
She's on Thinking Out Loud, presented by Regions, and Out of Pocket with Alyssa Lang. It is, in fact, Alyssa Lang.
I'm a little nervous. I'm going to lower the bar for guests now.
Oh, no.
Like, apologies in advance. It sounds like
SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey.
You got that radio voice.
I do.
It's a good sound.
Thanks for radio too.
As do we. And then here's the other thing. You guys, you're spot on with the name. Everybody wants to be on Main Street. Everybody wants to be on Main Street. So,
and we reach every Main Street in Middle Tennessee, Coach.
Yeah, that's it. So
Perfect.
when you are on Main Street and you are moving,
you gotta love it.
Like you're moving. I was impressed.
I'm glad someone.
Guess we got to get Eric to send us another picture, apparently.
Yeah. Look, there are very few pictures of Eric C. Henry on the internet. I would just like to point that out. Okay.
Keeps a very low profile.
He does. So there's that. All right. We've got less than 8 minutes, so let's get into it. Bill Hancock, friend of the show, sent a letter in response to Senator Rick Scott's letter requesting some information about how Florida State was left out of the college football playoff. Rick Scott, obviously a senator from Florida. This is the response from the great Bill Hancock. Dear Senator Scott, I am Bill Hancock, Executive Director of the College Football Playoff. I'm responding to your letter to Boo Corrigan, Director of Athletics at North Carolina State University and Chairman of the 13-member CFP Selection Committee, the committee, this year. Maybe the most incredible line I've ever seen written to a senator that I know he read it. Knowing how busy you are, thank you very much for taking the time to write about college football. You ain't got nothing better to do, Rick. I know the decision to rank 4 teams above Florida State is disappointing to you and other Florida State supporters. I'm happy to provide you with the information about this decision. And this is where he goes into all of the things that go into this decision, of course, mentioning the availability of key players, the strength of schedule, not being as strong as other teams ranked ahead of them, etc. Everyone on the committee understands the disappointment felt by Florida State fans. We recognize that no matter what decision was made, fans somewhere would be disappointed. This year, there were more than 4 highly impressive teams competing for 4 playoff spots, yet only 4 could qualify. The committee members are confident they made the right decision in ranking the 4 best teams in the country based on the protocol. We look forward to a great playoff games. Thank you again for your interest in college football. We sincerely appreciate you taking the time to convey your thoughts. Bill Hancock off the top rope with the Macho Man Randy Savage elbow or whatever. I mean, just an absolute masterclass from Bill Hancock. And
attached, please find our detailed protocol written by the conference. That's in response to the transparency. Here it is. Here's the thing. They were transparent. They've been transparent. They told you why they made the selections that they made. And you might not like their rationale, but they didn't not tell you. They didn't hide anything.
That's right.
So,
and again, this is the problem, is that there were more than 4 teams who could have qualified and been okay. And that's the problem, and so I just find it very interesting. Now, that is not the only letter
that has been written
regarding the playoffs today. As a matter of fact, as the I don't know, is he a? Let me see if I can. Just as a Georgia lawmaker, and I don't know, Georgia State Senator Colton Moore sent a letter to, and it's really hard to read this. I got to zoom in. To Chairman Boo Corrigan and the College Football Playoff Selection Committee. With few exceptions, collegiate sport is capable of governing itself, but the decision this committee made was a historic failure for the people of Georgia and Florida, as highlighted by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and Senator Rick Scott. Basically, he says, the University of Georgia, underlined, is in the top 4 college football teams in the United States. I don't disagree. A possible 3-time national champion is once in a lifetime to witness, and you wrote off the Georgia Bulldogs without even a breath in your announcement speech. We pray that Washington and Michigan do not get blown out like TCU did it by UGA in 2023 and Michigan did it by UGA in 2021, as this would solidify the committee's historic failure to underscore the federal lawsuits brewing unless something is corrected. There should be plans to contest the championship if such occurs. In light of the CFP expansion in 2024 and remedy to avoid massive liabilities, people of Georgia request you allow the Orange Bowl to be activated as a college football playoff game and therefore delay the national championship by 1 week or otherwise make accommodations. 6 teams. You can't get 2 from 6 the way that it's currently constructed.
No.
So are you going to how do you make the Orange Bowl a playoff game? You can't do that. You've got to change the matchups that there are and put everything into reseeding. And then you're going to play Texas and Georgia and then Alabama, Florida State.
Basically, this is what happens when you allow people who don't know football to talk football.
I mean, I think they understand football fine. I don't think they understand tournament brackets very well.
That could be. Maybe they've not covered enough softball. Yeah.
He did say that Georgia's one of the 4 best teams in the country, and I don't disagree. Just saying, look, I would be all for finding a way for Georgia and Florida State to play in the college football playoff. If there was a way to do it right now, if we could stop everything, stop the presses,
stop the count.
We're doing this right here, right now. We're going to find a way for Georgia or Florida State to be in the national champion or in the college football playoff. I would be all for it.
16 playoff.
If we could
1 and 2 get a bye, 3 plays 6, 4 plays 5.
That's right. Michigan, Washington, you no longer have to go to New Orleans. Congratulations. You're at the house this week. We're going to put Georgia against Michigan or against
Washington.
Against Texas.
Georgia, Texas,
Alabama, Florida State. Winners play the 1 and 2 and then go from there. I'm all for it. Let's figure it out. If that's what we can, if it's possible, let's do it. It's not possible. We're not going to do it. But if it were,
I don't think anybody would object to that.
Not a single person in the country, Boo Corrigan, Bill Hancock, anybody would be opposed. Because here's the thing. Now the Orange Bowl is just that much more important.
Mm-hmm.
More people are watching it. More people care. Just like they wanted to go to the 12-team playoff this year, and the ACC said no.
That continues to be
that is the elephant in the room, and they don't want to talk about it.
No, they don't want to.
They don't want to talk about it.
They don't want to have that conversation. We screwed that up.
But he's not wrong. The only problem is Georgia is, again, this is me. Michigan has no business in the college football playoff. Much like Oklahoma played their way out of it a while back, I feel like Michigan has too. But hey, who am I? What do I know?
Not much, apparently.
Clearly. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We'll be back at 2:00 on Monday. It's going to be a lot of fun reacting to the weekend. This has been Main Street Sports Today. See you then.